In 1870, a fossil hunter in England pulled a strange chunk of armor out of the rock. He had no idea what he was looking at. Neither did anyone else. For the next 150 years. Today, we finally know the truth. And it's bigger, older, and weirder than anyone expected. This is the story of Praearcturus gigas, the largest scorpion to ever exist.
The fossil was found in the St. Maugans Formation, part of the Old Red Sandstone in Rowlstone, England. The rock dates back to the Lower Devonian period, around 415 million years ago. For context, this is before dinosaurs, before trees covered the land, before most animals had even figured out how to live outside water.
Henry Woodward, the paleontologist who first described it in 1870, looked at the fragments and made his best guess: a giant isopod, basically a supersized woodlouse. That's actually where the name comes from. Praearcturus means before Arcturus, Arcturus being a genus of living isopods. 1885 argued it was a myriapod, like a giant millipede. 1934 argued it was a eurypterid, an ancient sea scorpion, a completely different group. 1969, one researcher grouped it loosely with crustaceans. Another said its identity was basically unknowable. 1980s, the first real suggestion. This is an actual scorpion, not a distant cousin, a true scorpion. But even that idea stayed shaky for decades because the fossil evidence was incomplete, mostly just body segments, no tail, no clear scorpion features to nail it down. That changed this year. A team led by Dr. Richard Howard at the Natural History Museum in London, along with researchers from the University of Manchester, went back to the original fossils with modern tools, CT scans, high-resolution photography, and a full redescription of the type specimen. The breakthrough had extra help from a completely different discovery. In 2015, a well-preserved ancient scorpion called Eramoscorpius was found in Canada, and it was unmistakably a scorpion. That gave researchers a clearer picture of what to look for in the older, messier fossils. Using all of this, the team confirmed it once and for all. Praearcturus gigas is a scorpion. And in the process, they folded in two other confusing fossil names, Brontoscorpio anglicus and Benetarthra annionensis, showing these were actually the same species all along. Here's the number that matters. Over 1 meter, more than 3.3 feet long, with pincers alone measuring around 16 centimeters, over 6 inches. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of a medium dog. Now imagine that dog is an armored predator with claws, stalking a floodplain 415 million years ago. That makes it the largest scorpion ever discovered, living or fossil. This is the part that surprised even the researchers. The usual explanation for giant prehistoric arthropods is high atmospheric oxygen, the theory used to explain giant insects and millipedes from the Carboniferous period, roughly 300 million years ago. But Praearcturus lived way earlier, in the early Devonian, before that oxygen spike even happened. So what actually happened? Dr. Howard's theory: it got huge because almost nothing else was competing with it. Land ecosystems were still brand new. Most animals hadn't even figured out how to live outside the water yet. There were basically no other large predators around. So this scorpion had the entire big terrestrial predator niche completely to itself, and it grew into that empty space. There's one more twist. Researchers think Praearcturus may not have lived purely on land. The boundary between ocean and shore was much blurrier back then,
and the fossil evidence hints this animal may have split its life between land and water, possibly even representing a lineage that returned to water after its ancestors had already made the move onto land. So, next time you see a scorpion, even a big one, remember, 415 million years ago, there was one the size of a dog, ruling the floodplains, with barely any competition in sight. And it took 150 years, 3 wrong guesses, and modern CT scanning just to finally prove what it actually was.
If you'd like to hear more interesting facts, support us and subscribe to the channel.